Good morning and welcome back to Killarney. I'm joined with Francois Butler. My name is Dexter Bruce. It's a great big welcome. It's our first time back after a little bit of a break.
2020 more.
2020 more. More cars, more speed, better times, better everything.
Everything's going to happen here. It's a lovely day. The weather's been kind to us this morning. There's a little bit of a breeze coming through here from the southeast. It's a nice cool ambient temperature. The liter bikes, the super bikes are going out to quali at the moment. We're starting off, I think we've got about 3 or 4 qualifications this morning before we get the race ball underway.
It is the passion for speed. It's the historic Grand Prix cars. I mean,
can you feel it?
You holding your heart.
Yeah.
It is something to be seen, something to be heard. Francois, these cars are absolutely amazing.
Well, look, you're speaking from the classic point of view. Yes, the focus today in a major way is on the classic cars. I mean, we're going right back, way back. We're going to the 50s, so we're working our way through to the 80s. I was here yesterday. I think you were here yesterday. There are some beautiful machines here. And then we've got 1 or 2 two-stroke classic bike parades. We'll touch on that just now. But like the cars. So let's chat about the cars. The Classic Car Club here at Killarney, that race, that are probably one of the biggest classes here at Killarney. They have got a whole gaggle of drivers from all around the world, by the way, that have now brought some cars over. And we've seen, especially the single-seaters. We were just having a chat off air about that now. There are some beautiful renditions there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let's start off with a warm welcome. Let's actually welcome the Europeans, the Holland guys, the guys from France. We welcome you. It's nice to have you back. This is not their first time. They've been here before. They know their way around the track. They know their way around South Africa because they just come from Swartkops. You know, and we were just mentioning how these guys drive these cars. They don't tiptoe.
No.
The gloves are off. They want to bleed. They're going to go for guns. They take the fenders off these cars and they drive them balls to the wall, which we love.
Absolutely. I mean, we were, you go and have a look at Goodwood Speed Festival, how they race those cars. Especially the guys from the Nordic regions, from Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and the likes that go down to places like Brands Hatch, Silverstone, Goodwood. And they pin their ears back. I mean, it's, hold me back, Mom, I'm going for it.
It's so nice to see it. It's a little bit for me, I mean, I'm not obviously from the 50s or from the 60s, but the way these guys drive these cars, it's like GTI Challenge guys.
For sure.
They're reliving those moments of yesteryear.
And we don't mind rubbing tires and fenders, you know what I mean?
Cross-ply tires.
Yes, cross-ply.
So the cars are going to dance all the time. They're completely loose. And luckily for you, we've had a massive downpour sort of 4 o'clock this morning. The track is dry.
Lightning. So spectacular.
It was. And it's very cold, a little bit of cold air coming, but the sun is really coming out now. It's a really great day to be out here. And I think it's going to play in their favor. So the cars are going to take a little bit of time to get to temperature. The tires are going to have a little bit of work to do before they get to where they're gripping. The bikes are out now first. When we see these cars, Francois, the historics, how often do they actually get it loose?
You know, I was standing watching the guys going to turn 1 yesterday with the open wheelers, you know, with the old F1 cars, etc., down in there. And they break. And then they start squirming under them, you know. And then they sort of tuck it in the corner. Then it sits out the back end. And then they squirt up to turn number 2, up to quarry there. Are these guys that ain't back here?
And the margins are small with the open wheel car.
Your contact patch is about yay big, you know what I mean?
That's the thing, you know, if you're running a tin-top car, you can knock fenders and you can knock wing mirrors. But on an open wheel car, if you're going to knock somebody else's tire, the only way you're going to go is straight up. You know, so the margins for error is very, very small.
For sure.
And I mean, one of the cars that I really like here, Francois, I mentioned to you a little bit earlier, the Maserati 250F. The grand old lady is actually the oldest car competing today, 1954. I think it's a V8 or something, but it just sounds...
And you hear the sound of it when they started it up in the garage. I mean, that was just, it's
a
spectacular.
Song. It's a song.
Yeah, and you know, we something we just also touched on earlier on, the youngsters of today don't know those things. But I don't care what age you are, when you stand next to that car and it starts beeping and you feel it.
You feel it.
You change your whole nature towards it.
That's definitely one thing we should probably talk about is the way these cars look. It's very difficult to distinguish between them. Obviously, they've got different colors, they've got different numbers on them. But what really stands out is the sound of the engines. And if you're a car guy, you're going to know what a V8 sounds like, what a V6 sounds like. So you have 1,000cc running on 48 side rofs with a compression that's through the roof.
Correct.
The exhaust is only that short, and it's right next to the driver. It sounds blisteringly beautiful.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, you know, I don't know if you've seen the Ferrari movie of late.
Yes.
There you saw Enzo Ferrari and you saw Maserati and all these guys with their spectacular engines. I mean, they weren't talking about 5-liter V8s.
No.
They were talking about little
1.5
1400 V6s and 1.5s and all the rest. I mean, and when you hear those things scream and the way they drove them, you know, and yeah, and what was actually very funny about watching that movie is the technology and the know-how from the 50s.
It's still running today.
Still going today.
And the times these guys are doing is actually competitive times. They are really pushing these cars. They're doing fairly decent times with 1000cc, 1.5.
Oh, yes.
And it's really nice to see. And obviously, to drive these cars, Francois, is not the most comfortable thing in the world. We've had a walk around the paddock, and that's the beauty really of Killarney, is that you can walk right up to the car. You can talk to the drivers. You can really engage with him.
Unlike other circuits, we have to have special passes. Killarney has always had this favor towards the spectators to afford them the opportunity to walk through the pits, to go and actually visualize these vehicles. I think I took about 200 photos yesterday to see these motors with all those ram tubes. And,
it's beautiful.
And those old carbs
sticking straight up.
Straight up, and you look down and you can see the pistons
you
through
see
the
piston through the carburetor.
Yeah.
It really is quite nice. Right on track right now, just quickly on the side of your screen, you're going to see that's Kenwan Snyman. He really is the man to chase, I think, this year.
Yeah, look, we've also got Kewins there. We'll have Slade van Niekerk will be out there. Tristan Pino will be out there.
On 1000.
Also on 1000.
Yeah.
He's on a BMW, I believe. Jason Lineker is on 1000 Honda. He's doing his bit there as well. So that's going to be very exciting. So let's have a look at the times that they're posting. I think that's the important bit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Kewen doing a 1:12.
So I mean, he's there or thereabout. I mean, it's obviously warming up to the idea.
It's not too shabby.
It's not too shabby. Remember, they've also done a fair bit of changes. You know,
yes.
we received our program this morning, and a lot of the talk is during this off-season, off-time, you develop your vehicle, you develop your bike, you train a little bit. The competition has obviously gotten a lot fierce, and every year they move the yardstick. The yardstick is 112 now.
Yeah.
Next year, 2025, it's going to be 111 and 108, and that's how it goes. And the only way to get there is to improve. So, you know, you take this first race and you learn.
Yeah.
Learn what you've changed, learn the new tire you're on. You're obviously going to have a new gear, and that's kind of the whole process of today, is take it slowly by slowly. And the guys that have been here before, they know this.
Yes.
The guys that are new to the scene, jumping onto 1000 for the first time, all they're going to do is get their stars and their stripes today. So they're going to out there to prove a point.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Look, the main thing is, and I think what from the viewer's point of view, they're petrol heads, they know the story. But like you rightly said, I'm getting onto a liter bike. I was on a 600 last season. Yeah. Now suddenly I got 400 cc's more than I expected.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of grunt.
Yeah.
And now I've got to understand, where do I place the power? Where do I brake? Where do I apply power? That I don't want the bike to do unwanted things to me.
Right.
And that is where the whole new mindset comes in, that new change. These youngsters, well, you know,
I like how they have no fear.
No fear,
you know what I mean? They go there guns blazing and they send it. And if you look at the top, sort of the top 7, it's all the right guys. Kenwan Snyman, Slade van Niekerk, Malcolm Rapson, Ronald Slamet. We've heard his name before plenty of times. Tristan Pienaar, you just mentioned him on the 1000. Jason Lineker, can mention it. Brad Bodsworth, always present.
Brad. Well, the guys will see later on the viewing. Brad Bodsworth is riding an RSV4 Aprilia.
Wow.
With a whole aero kit.
He's on a new bike.
And he said to me, I had a long chat with him yesterday afternoon. He says to me, that is a beast. It's a V. So you got this sort of what they call delayed power.
Yeah.
So you brake and then suddenly all hell breaks loose. You just give it that, and then bang, it's there. And he says it's like, wow, whoa, what's happening? You know.
So that's going to be something.
That in essence, and he's also trying to get used to it. He says this is something new. He got over CBR 1000, which was like on the tap. Now it's like bang.
You got to roll onto the power. The V4s are obviously a little bit different. While we're on the bikes, let us just talk a little bit about the classic bikes. Now I know that's close to your heart.
My man, let me explain something to you.
Go for it.
We're having an historic bike parade today, folks, and we've got about 45, 50 bikes here today, and I'm having a look down through the program. We've got a lot of the RD and RZ 250 and 350 Yamahas that are here. We've actually got a Suzuki RG500 Gamma. We have got a Yamaha RZ 500 that is here. We have got a Norton 510M, a 51 Norton.
That's
I saw
the
it.
oldest vehicle actually driving today. competing today.
Riding here today. And then something that's sort of close to my heart, I'm not supposed to mention it as such, my brother-in-law, Mr. Martin Petzold.
Yes.
We know him as the suspension guru in South Africa. He is the Olean's agent and also his own agent. He has got his Yamaha TZ250 1994. That is a MotoGP bike, which he went and sourced from the original owner.
Wow.
Well, not the original owner, the guy that bought it. When he got off the bike at Zwartkops, the guy said, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
And 40 odd years later, he's now bought the bike back. He has restored it to its original Winston colours. He will be doing parade laps with it today. He is the only, I was actually asking for an interview, but I think he put in a bit of a nap this morning because he's been working hard the whole week, so it might be a tad late. The thing that I want to say is that Martin is the only South African to stand on a MotoGP podium in South Africa.
Yeah.
He came second in 94 to Pier Francesco Chili.
Wow.
On that 250.
Those are big names.
I mean, those are names, you don't just throw them around.
Definitely not.
And Martin was there. I mean, I've seen the trophy in his cabinet. It's real, it's tangible, you know. But it's nice to see.
It really is unbelievable. I'm going to bring Frankie in. Frankie's just about to join us. He's the legend, the myth, the man, you know.
He's just putting all his groceries down.
So
fresh from Food Lovers.
I'm gonna go a little bit closer so that he can hear me. So we were obviously debating, you know, who's gonna be with me. Obviously our resident co-host here, Ernest, is not here today. And these gentlemen stepped in there and put their hands up, no problem. And this is the guys, when you get to Killarney, these are the voices that you hear all the time. They are absolute legends. They've been here since I was, as far as I know.
Yeah, you were running around on the grass. We do remember it. But the nice thing is about it is, and Dex, you're touching on a point now. Frankie and I were also this high when we came here.
Yeah.
And you've lived through all these eras. And now today, these eras are being introduced back into our lives. And I was actually walking down the pit lane with the motorcycles this morning and I was taking photos, and as I'm taking it, the goose flesh is starting to stand because it takes you back to that era.
Yeah.
And the classic cars as well. The 74s, the 80s.
Yeah, well, I think we are in for, well, first of all, morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Frankie.
I think we're going to be in for a lovely day. I had a look at the initial program that came through to me on Tuesday, the provisional program. It looked a bit dismal, but between Tuesday and now, boy, has the numbers increased in this official program.
Absolutely.
And thank you to all the competitors that's come down. The last time we had the Passion for Speed here was in 2019.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. And the numbers for that event didn't look good.
Yeah.
And it was decided to can it at Killarney for a while.
Yeah.
Which happened. Not only did COVID happen, but they did can it for a while, and they brought it back now for the first time this year. And judging by the numbers and the names in this program, I think you're going to be in for a very good day.
Absolutely. We're just about to see the sports and GT cars mixed with the Trans Am. It's absolutely fantastic to see. I think, you know, we used to these names. Steve Humble.
So look, I'm fortunate. I've got the sports and GT, and then also the pre-74 international sports racing prototypes.
That's exactly what I was going to mention. I mean, these cars are in the class of their own, boys, and now they've got decent competitors with them. Let's run a little bit through the bottom half of this page.
Yeah, look, right at the bottom is what we call Class X, which are the invitational cars.
Yeah.
We got Mike Verrier. He's in the BMW Z4. We saw him out yesterday. Frankie can touch on this one. Kenneth Pearson in that McLaren M6B.
As a matter of fact, the McLaren, the camera can't pick it up now, but the McLaren has just moved out of Kenneth Pearson. He comes all the way from
Holland, I think.
Denmark, Norway. Denmark, or Sweden, or one of the Scandinavian countries.
Somewhere where it's cold and snowy.
Very cold and snowy. How do they say? The only difference between summer and winter there is the rain is warmer in winter. No, I'm only joking. But he comes from one of the Scandinavian countries, and he's always here.
Yeah.
Every time we have a Passion of Speed up at Zwartkops in the weekend after at Killarney, Kenneth Pearson is always here.
So do you think that they're going to be sort of rivals for our local boys, more beachy
I
heads?
can tell you something from the last time we saw Kenneth out here. He does not hang back.
Yeah.
But the last time he was out here was with the GT40.
Correct.
Which, by the way, is an original GT40.
Not a
It's
replica.
It's not a replica or a kit
Yeah.
car or whatever you want to call it. It was one of the original GT40s.
And
And
really, we owe it to these boys for keeping the history alive. I mean,
Well,
it's really one thing to...
what people don't realize. That is where racing originated.
Yeah.
We also saw the Ford movie as well.
Yeah.
With the GT40.
Yeah.
Up against the Ferraris. Now the GT40 has been managed here by Steve Hart from the UK.
Yeah.
It is an original. The only way you know it's an original is if you go into the pit and you look at the car. It's not fiberglass.
Plastic.
No, it's tin.
Tin, okay, it's an
tin.
aluminium.
It's aluminium.
Wow.
Or tin that they had actually manufactured in those days. You can see the little wells and the
Rivets.
brackets and the rivets to that. So that's what tells you. And that motor,
Yeah.
that Ford GT40, that I think it's a 7.5 litre V8, but that thing fires up.
So the bottom of the list is the youngest guy, Oliver Internas. I had a bit of a race with him the last Clubman. What do you think he's going to fare with, like with all the older gentlemen over here?
Well, Ollie's in the M3, the E46
Yeah.
M3. Now, a little thing that the people might not know about Oliver, he's an ex-motocross rider.
Okay.
He's a two-wheeler.
Okay.
So he comes off the dirt onto here, and he's now shown. I mean, Frankie, last
Yeah.
season, Oliver showed that he's got what it takes to be out here.
But remember, he's now in the M3 E46 BM. He started off with a pretty much stock standard BMW in Clubman's.
Correct.
And he didn't do too bad in it. And then I think it was about August last year when Gary and myself went up to PE for the GTI Challenge Away event. They had the SA Endurance Series race there, 4 hour. And he entered that one. They had the 1 hour, which was incorporated in the 4 hour, in that stock standard BMW. Now we all know Scribante is at the very long circuit. And I think by the end of lap 4, the front runners, the Ferraris and the Porsches and the Lamborghinis and the Audis, they caught him. I don't know how many times they lapped him.
Yeah.
But he was not willing to give up. And he just kept on going in that car. And he's moved on into the car that we see him in now.
It's one of
so
the-
yeah, he's come through the ranks from the bottom up.
That's
yes.
exactly what I wanted to say. It's one of the benefits of starting with a slower car and moving your way up, is that you progressively learn and you get quicker. There's a lot of youngsters that I've seen in my time now being here, is that you buy a fast car, you're in Class A. You've missed a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you're starting off with a slower car, working your way to a faster car. Him being in a class where the guys are doing 117s, I think he's going to hold his own. He's a youngster. The guys are going to blast past him, but I think he's going to be okay.
The nice thing is the cars to the top are fully developed.
Yeah.
He's got an E46. We know what you can do with BMW. The limits are endless. So he can now sort of say, okay, well, I'm here. I'd like to be there. Then he'll add something. And so it'll bring it. Eventually he's going to get to the point where he's going to say, knock, knock, boys, I'm here. Look behind you.
Talk about him. He qualified P7.
There we go.
Yeah, well, here we go.
I mean, that speaks for itself.
Here we go.
Well, you've got the qualifying there. I'm sure we'll see the time there for Kenneth Pearson in the McLaren M6B.
He's laying just above him in P6,
Yeah.
and top of the list is W.
And that is a noisy motor car,
It's
but
so-
man,
it's
does
so
it sound
beautiful.
awesome.
I'd like to go and touch on Class B. We've got the likes there of Andre Brink and Martin Prince. So Andre is riding the new Porsche 991 4th generation, the Gen 4.
The brand new one.
The new one, the Gen 4.
Beautiful motor car.
4 litre flat
Flat
six.
six.
My man. And then with him is Martin Prince in the GT3 Cup car, which is a 991
Yeah.
Gen 3 car.
Yeah.
So it's a 3.8 and a 4 litre.
Yes.
It's vast. You cannot believe how vast it is.
Absolutely.
And yesterday, Andre Brink put the car on the track and suddenly he just lit it up and did a 115. Boom, have a nice day.
I mean, don't discount our local boys. Steve Humble is going to be there. Francis Carruthers,
Gary Kieswetter.
Gary Kieswetter, they're going to be there.
Yeah.
And they're going to obviously hold these guys back down as far as they possibly can. That's their job today.
And someone that I've also known for plenty of years, over 40 years. A man that comes out here that likes his racing.
Yeah.
And is actually not even linked to racing, but he races. He's a man by the name of Henny. We call him Sensei Henny Bosman. I think he's a 7th Dan karate exponent. I mean, he is
Yeah.
the man's nearly 70.
Yeah.
And he's still racing and he's still plugging it away.
Well, the camera would have listen to that. The whole ground is shaking underneath us. That is Kenneth Pearson in that McLaren M6B that he's got out there, and man, I'm looking forward to him. I'm looking forward to the battle of the Porsches here, as Fonso was saying, Andre Brink, Martin Prince, Gary Kieswetter. I remember a time, and I'm sure Fonsa can back me up on this. Maybe there was about 5 Porsches. I'm going back to about 2012, 2013. We had these 3 names, and there were so many other Porsches that were dicing in Class B and C, and they were all together. And the commentators back up in the day, up in the tower, used to fight who's going to do sports and GT, because everybody wanted to be on the mic with a battle of these 5 Porsches. I know Keith Fourie
And
was one of them.
Ginsberg was another one.
Cyril Ginsberg,
yeah.
yes.
The Bigfoot Porsche.
Yes.
With a Bigfoot transport, I remember it.
That was Old Dingus as well. Sun Moodley.
Sun Moodley.
Sun
Yes.
Moodley was
Yeah.
another one that was out here. Now the nice thing about it those days is, so I would say to Frankie, man, I love Porsche. And he'd say, but I like sports and GT. So the fight was on.
And again with these guys, they really drive the car to the maximum. They send it.
No,
you
they
know.
go flat out, flat out.
And that's what we want to see.
I heard something yesterday. Now, I don't want to force any chase any way from racing.
Yeah.
But I was listening to Martin Prince yesterday. A set of tires for the Porsche is 25k. And he says, maybe we should buy 5 sets. And I'm like, oh, really?
And talking about the Porsches, another name that raced those days was Ryan Buddha.
Ryan Buddha, yes.
He also did a bit of rallycross as well.
Correct, absolutely,
And,
absolutely.
he also was in the Porsches back, but now we're going back a couple of years.
Yeah.
No. But that was when the racing or the sports and GT ignited at Killarney. It's now growing.
And just getting back into that, Steve Humble just answered back to Derby with a 110. So Steve takes top of the qualifying. Derby is 2nd and France is 3.
I was going to say, those pull beams are not slow.
They're not slow.
They are not slow. Those pull beams are going to be up front, and Humble and Kieswetter is going to make it difficult for them, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Mr. Steve Becker saying hello to us
Yeah,
from
I think
the
we
stairs.
must bring him a bit closer.
What a character. What an absolute character.
Steve.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Steve Becker, Auto Access.
Access Auto.
Access Auto.
Hi guys, we're going to have a lekker day today.
Nice to
I'm
have
gonna
Steve back on the track.
Take the Passat from the back to mid-pack.
There we go, Steve. I love your notion.
It's all about having fun. That's it, Stephen. Yeah, that's the most important thing.
As long as you can
And
finish.
it's always strange, we're talking about it, how unassuming a race car driver looks.
Absolutely.
You know, you always think I
Absolutely.
must have a vision. You know, you think about that European suave Frenchman
No.
or that brute American guy. No.
Dirty t-shirt, dirty
Yes.
nails, humble guys.
Yep,
you
that's
can
it.
talk to them.
And he's raced everything from tar
Yes.
oval to dirt oval to
All
main
tar rally.
circuit, you name it. And he has fun wherever he goes.
While we're on
He
it,
was also the promoter of Capergallus Raceway once upon a time.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Bredasdorp, I think it
Yeah,
was.
Bredasdorp, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the Lime Oval.
While we're there, let's talk a little bit about the Lauda Classic cars, which is for me right now almost as if it's our premium.
It is our premium category
series
at Killarney at the moment.
right now.
It's really, you know, I always want to say that the bug is bitten.
Yeah.
The guys are bringing out some silly cars. Now I'm gonna run through this pretty quickly. Out in Class A, we got Glenn Ayton Bogart in the Piranha. That's a V8 Piranha Granada. Michael Hitchcock in the Ford Mustang. It's a 67 coupe from Cascade Forklift Services. When we have one of our international drivers, Arnie Neverland, who's here, he's going to be riding the Ford Shelby Mustang.
Beautiful car.
Then we got Mark Ayton Bogart in that beautiful Gold 4FM on GT. Baran Bedin in the old Datsun Triple S.
Yeah.
Jaco Lambert's in the Jetta. Fadi Maton's in the Class B Ford Mustang. And Ferdy has got this juvenation about him. He's feeling very jolly. Trevor Marmack in a local Ford Capri. And then Bruce Van Taplin, I spoke to him yesterday. That 69 Corolla. That 4AGE motor. I don't know what's in there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that an ex-production vehicle? I almost assume it was one of
it
the
was
Cyril
production.
Surge Damso.
It's a Surge cars, yes.
From that era.
Yes, yes.
You mean one of the original SAT cars?
Yes.
You must have the Minolta one, and then you had
the red one with the yellow wheels.
Damso was in one of them.
Correct.
And then you had there was 2 of them back in the day.
Yeah, but those were the Camrys.
No,
These
the
are the
Minolta
Corolla.
was Camry, I think.
Yes.
But I know there were a couple of sprinters way back in the beginning of Stanik SAT car back in the
That's
day.
what it was. Yeah.
No, for sure. But that car is it's must
going.
remember, Bruce Van Taplin was a Toyota Works dealer team mechanic.
Yeah.
You can't tell him anything about Toyota.
Absolutely.
He knows it all.
And I mean,
Just
he's got the smallest engine, if I'm not mistaken,
1600.
in that Class Class A, Class B category.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for
You
sure.
know?
Just running on another name, and a man that I know very well that I've met way back when at the one of the hill climbs, Vance Kearney from the UK.
Absolutely.
He rides Ferrari GT Cup over in the UK. He comes here and he picks up a little VW Jetta 1600, and he has oodles of fun.
Little yellow one. We sometimes call it the Fox.
The
but
Fox.
the Jetta one and the Fox
It's
is
the
basically
Jetta.
the same
We,
car.
we can't mention the top 3 categories without mentioning Franco Donadeo. Frankie?
Franco Donadeo, yeah.
I am looking forward
Yes.
to Franco Donadeo
Yeah.
versus Rudolf de
Come on,
Vos.
come on.
That's what I'm looking for.
Come on.
Those Chevy Forenza Can-Ams, those V8s
Right.
are going to howl around this
Let's
track.
pause here a little
But
bit.
remember, like Francis said to me yesterday when I spoke to him, Rudolf's been working on that car and developing it for many
For
years.
some time.
Where Franco's is basically a whole new setup.
So they just come from Swartkops and they had a bit of a memorial for Basil.
Basil, yeah.
Obviously, who developed these Chevy Can-Ams.
Yeah.
That is a historic car in itself for South Africa.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Listen, that still comes out the Cigarette Gunston era.
Correct.
You remember them? Yeah, it's the Can-Ams it's actually an Australian Holden motor as we know it. There was the old Aussie motor that came out, the V8. And we know what the Aussies do with their V8s. They're
Yes.
still tinkering with V8s, and they're getting very spectacular with it.
Yeah.
So yes, and something that's also got a bit of a revival, and I think worldwide, Frankie, is the Mark 1 Ford Escort.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
But we're talking guys are paying 1, 2, 3 bar for an Escort. I mean, do me a favor. A piece of tin and it costs that much.
Look, your Mark 1 and Mark 2 Ford Escorts are always going to be popular.
Yeah.
No matter how old they are.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
people love those cars still.
So for those
But
that
as
don't
Francois
know,
was saying, the Mark 1, yes.
those that don't know, Franco comes from a Mark 1 Escort, which I think he put into a wall late last year or something. It was a bit of a
scratch.
bit of a scratch.
Yes.
He's now jumping into the Chevy Can-Am. Am I right or wrong?
Correct.
For this
From,
particular
from
race?
Ford to Chev.
From Ford to Chev, which
From 4-cylinder 2-litre to Chevy V8
am I
power.
am I allowed to say this on air?
go for it.
He's going into a Chev. And I ride a Ford, but he's going into a Chev.
But if racing is in your blood, I mean, for me, I'm a car guy at heart. Most of you guys are as well. The brand doesn't really matter.
No,
It's whatever's available and whatever daddy drove,
And
that's what
whatever
you're
you
going
want
to
to
drive.
drive.
That's it,
yeah.
Mark. But Frankie, if I can add here, I think Franco's going to feel very at home with all that power. And
Oh, yeah.
That's what
yes.
he's used to.
Look, he had to make the change as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned because he first had the 2-litre Cosworth motor, then he went to the Pinto engine. But if you've got all these big old heavy V8s around you, you got, for example, you got Mark 8 and Bogard with a Fairmont GT, you got the Mustangs of Hitchcock and Neerfeling, and obviously Fadi Maton.
Yeah.
And then you've also got now and then Malcolm 8 and Bogard with a V8 Granada.
Yeah.
And they all in there with him, and he felt a bit lost, I think, between that. So now he's
it was.
decided, listen here,
I'm coming.
if I can't beat them, let's join them,
Yeah.
and then we have a lot of fun. All these V6s and V8s at the sharp end of the field,
It was always
including
good.
Nomberg with the Capri.
Good to see sort of the large cars versus the small cars because as you just mentioned, the big V8s down the back straight, and Killarney's got 2 beautiful straights. They're going to get top speed down the straights. That's usually where they make up ground, and then in the braking, that's where Franco gets them. But now he's got a bit of power, and of course he's got that experience with him. Knowing him, he's developed that car over time. Now, I mean, he had I think a Ford Fiesta at one point as well.
Yes,
I think he raced in Clubman's many a year ago, 2012, 2010, somewhere there. Even back then, it was ex-Cosworth car, beautiful motor car. If anybody can pedal this car out of the blocks, it's going to be this man.
And trust me, Franco's not going to hang back. He'll ride the wheels of it.
But remember, he is a multiple SA oval track champion as well. Back in the day, raced midgets. The Donadeo Transport midget. Then he got sponsored by Master Parts when he raced back Cape Old drivers.
Him and Neville,
And him and the original Pink Panther, Joe Zockby from Boerland Yell Drivers in Paul.
Yeah.
They had massive dices and battles in the oval. So his club, Western Province, Regional and SA Oval Track Champion, dirt. So if anybody knows his way around ovals and main circuit in any car,
it's going to be
it a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder or a V8, dirt, tar, oval, main circuit, it's Franco. He knows what he's doing.
And a guy like Franco will feel
one
very...
of the legends of Western Province Motorsport.
The thing about Franco that'll make him feel at home is when he goes around a corner and that back steps out, he can play with that power. He can just feather it, go out of the corner, hold it sideways, light up the circuit. It's going to be a crowd pleaser. Him and Rudy are going to be
I was going to
crowd-pleasers.
say, talk about sideways. We can't discount Rudy De Vos.
No.
I mean, come on, guys.
Sideways, Rudy.
But you know, and frankly, I think this takes us back. I remember sitting on the outside of Sarl Sweep
Yeah.
when I was a youngster. The guys there, like Mike Moore, coming through with a Jag.
Yeah.
And you know, that lot.
That time it wasn't called Cyrus, it was called Malmesbury.
Malmesbury.
That was that time ago.
Yeah, Luigi Mazzocchi in the Skylines.
Yes,
I mean,
yes, Dion de Waal.
Dion de Waal.
We had the Rover.
Yep.
Beautiful,
They used to
beautiful.
come through there and they felt the back end going, and then they just light it up. The smoke trail runs down the back straight.
So it's safe to say if you're at home right now and you're watching this, get out here to Killarney. There is also quite a few changes that have been made. The clubhouse, I believe, is under new management.
The clubhouse and new management. There's a new pit shop down the bottom.
I mean,
outside of
It's
turn
so
one.
good to see things move and progress.
On the inside of the gate on the side,
Yeah.
there's parking for over 400 cars.
So we were just mentioning, Frankie, just before you got onto air, Killarney is one of the only places you can actually go to where you can engage with the cars, walk in the pits without having an access card, without having special. You pay your gate fee, you can pretty much walk wherever you want to walk.
Yes, anywhere you go. I mean, and there's a shuttle as well that takes the people from the pits to that way around towards turn 2 and
Yeah.
all the way back. And
Yeah.
I don't know if any of the other circuits do that. I know Scribanti doesn't. Because we were there last year, so wherever we wanted to go when we were off air, we either had to carry myself, had to walk, or we
Motorbike.
jumped in the car and we drove there. But yeah, that's all available here at Killarney, yes.
And of course, you can braai. The braai facilities are fantastic here now.
There's plenty of braais.
Many-
There's lots of vendors as well. The food's
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah.
We actually, in the off season, so our little cafes have
Yeah.
now got chefs.
Yeah, no, I've actually noticed that, and the food is really good. I've had a little bit of breakfast yesterday watching the free practice. I had a breakfast bun, and I must say it was really good.
I had mine. No, it's still sitting.
It's like it's a stable diet of when you come to Killarney,
Oh,
have a
for
breakfast bun and a coffee.
A brekkie bun and a coffee when you come to Killarney is must.
Many people complained about the lack of shade, and I want to say this out in public. There is ample shade facilities. Turn 1, the outside of turn 1. You just mentioned there's a new kitchen and a new facility there. There's
Stands,
There's
beautiful.
stands with beautiful shade.
Yeah, lovely.
Everywhere you go, it's
Lovely.
absolutely fantastic. You don't have to park your car in sand.
And I was
Yes.
at the new pits on the inside of the main straight.
Yeah.
The new pits have actually extended the veranda.
Yeah.
So now you've got even a big area, so you can sit in the veranda, you've got glass, no wind in your face, and you can actually see the racing.
So-
I thought that's a brilliant idea.
Big ups to the Western Province Motor Club. I
Yeah.
think we actually, is it a Blue Dot Award or what are we?
Yes.
Blue Dot, yeah.
It's a Blue Dot. It's a National Historical Award. As a matter
Yeah.
of fact, it's on as you go around the corner, it's on the wall
Yeah.
on the race control.
Absolutely fantastic.
But I want to move on to the supercars because your partner in crime, Mr. Ernest Page,
I'm telling you this much.
he's not with you today. He's in the Keltron supercar.
He is.
And joining the likes of Brad Fenner, Ryan Cat, Shane Boscombe, Craig Hume, Carl Haddock, Glenn Phillips, and Stefan Norkier in the supercars. And then in the fine cars, I see a couple of serious cars here. I see a Plymouth Fury of Frans van Maaskalkewaard and then Michael Campagne
Yep.
in the Ford Galaxy.
So Ernest is taking on a bit of a new venture this year with trying to drive these Keltron supercars. Now they're notoriously known for being a little bit difficult to drive.
And a little bit loose on the road too.
Yes. They are.
A little bit loose. We've had lengthy chats with Uncle Jesse. Uncle Jesse is obviously a seasoned veteran driving these things. Glenn Phillips is multiple champion as well. And he's decided he's going to tackle this cars for this year. So he'll be competing as far as he possibly can in the Keltron supercars. He's in the white and orange one. I'm not sure the number, the
But
race
don't
number.
you think it's an unfair advantage now going to rallycross that he gets all this practice and you don't get anything?
Well,
What's the story?
I'm racing Clubman as well,
Well,
as.
that's okay. He's
Ah,
in
there we go.
Clubman, so that's where he gets his other practice from. Yeah.
So
No. You see Ernest and Dex do rallycross. So Ernest said there's no way Dex can get more practice in Clubman, so I need to go and get more practice in supercars to even it out a bit.
He's going. He did a 127 yesterday, which I think is there or thereabout on the pace. The man to beat, as far as I know, is Glenn Phillips.
Glenn's very
Yeah.
good.
He's the quickest, and he's been around there for some time.
No, Glenn is a seasoned veteran in his supercar. I mean, I think he's going off with about 10 years now.
Yeah.
If it's not as long as that. Interesting racing. Look, it's an aging car. The guys are really trying everything to keep them going.
Yeah.
I almost want to say that if you want to learn how to race, the ideal car.
Look, like we've had a chat before, you just mentioned Jesse Huggett in the supercars. Jess literally told me a couple of years ago, and this is not no thumb sucking.
Yeah.
If you get it wrong,
Yeah.
the car gives you about 2.5 seconds to rectify. Then you're a passenger after, because then it does what it wants to do and it heads towards accident scene.
Correct.
So
He sent
it's
me
a very, very nervous race car.
Yeah, that's
It's a thoroughbred race car.
It's an,
These are supercars.
it was built by, I think, Owen Ashley.
Owen
guys,
Ashley built it,
correct.
yes,
right
yes.
here at Killarney Raceway.
Killarney, just across the way there, where
Just
Steve
across the way.
Humble
So
is,
it's a
yeah.
very local car. And Ernest sent me a video this morning going into turn 2. He got a little bit sideways, knocked it into third gear, and the car stepped out. And the correction is very, you got to be precise and you got to be a little bit wild with the car.
Yeah.
Hitting a curb is a no-go area.
No.
She doesn't like curbs.
No,
She doesn't like to be unsettled. So you're right. It's a car if you want to learn how to drive.
That's what
but
you're gonna-
here's my question around the Caltron supercars. In your infinite wisdom in being around the series for a while now, what do you guys think? And I would like you guys to weigh in here. What do you guys think is going to revive the series? New body, new engine, new drivers.
I think yeah.
New rules.
I think the main thing is let's work with a tubular chassis, a new motor to move with technology. I don't know, possibly a 1600 turbo or something, and then just get a sort of a revised body. I mean the Flexis from the stock cars to me is the ultimate. Those Tigras or whatever.
I'm
they are.
just going to say
The
now, the Tigra body.
Yeah.
Fair point.
If the supercars want to stay Opel,
Yeah.
then a new Opel motor, maybe as
Yeah.
Francois says, a 16-valve turbocharged motor, and maybe a Opel Tigra body. It's sporty.
Yeah.
And
Aerodynamic.
as a matter of fact, the majority of your national hot rod tour drivers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they do Opel
Tigra.
Corsa or Opel Tigra bodies.
I think that's a
but
very
it's
good
mainly,
point.
It's mainly Tigra.
I would-
Yeah.
So yeah,
The reason
get,
I'm saying
get
that-
away from the Opel Astra body.
Yeah.
I say the reason why I'm saying Tigra is because the Corsa is a hatchback. It doesn't have length and stability, whereas the Tigra has a bit of a sort of a boot shape to it
Yeah.
with the aero wing on it.
I think that's
and it's
a
a bit
very
more
good point.
stable and
Yeah.
it's got downforce onto the back wheels. Now, if you think of the Tigra body, there's guys chucking in 13B rotaries into those things,
For
and
sure.
they handle beautifully.
And I think I stand corrected, but Ishmael Pick up in Johannesburg, I'm not sure, but he races one of those things on main circuit with a windscreen and everything in.
Yeah.
So you can actually use him for main circuit.
Oh yes, for sure.
Yes, yeah, you can. KBL drivers.
Yeah.
In the 2.1s, there's a good couple of Tigra bodies there as well. But yeah, like I said, a perfect example, as Francois said, the National Hot Rod Tour, they've got rotaries inside those things.
Yeah.
My belief is if they want to keep this class going, you need to get a stronger, more powerful engine.
Yeah.
And you maybe need to dust, as I said a while ago, the Astra body and maybe go Opel Tigra.
So for those of you that don't know
But that's
exactly
just my opinion, that's all.
what we're talking about an Opel Astra Coupe, and there's a naked man walking across the screen. His name is Steve Humble. Watch him.
We'll get in there. That's the chairman of our rallycross section, that guy.
It's a 2-liter 8-valve with running on side rafts. The body style is more, I think it's an Opel Astra Coupe.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yes.
so it's not a very sort of sought after. And I think to keep it relevant, I think you guys have hit it really on the nail on the head here.
Well,
Something
I've had a discussion with one or two of the guys that are involved in it, maybe 3-4 years back. They were playing with the notion, and I said to them, if there's a car that is an attractive thing on the circuit,
Yeah.
it's that Tigra.
It's a Tigra.
Yeah.
Even though we never
Correct.
had it on the road, I mean, it's funny. It would
Yeah.
be so sort of in part of our culture, the hot rod. I mean, Kwesi
Reyes.
Kwesi's got a Tigra,
the most
yes.
beautiful Tigra that I know around.
As a matter of fact, he won the 2022 National Hot Rod Championship with these Tigra body.
Absolutely.
And then you got to drive in the UK
Yeah.
in the World Finals at Ipswich. And what was he in?
Yeah.
A Tigra. They built a Tigra for him over there. So it's a well-known car.
It is a
And
well-known car.
It's a racy-looking motor car.
And it's easy to come by as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think whoever's listening, if you guys can just weigh in a little bit, I think let's move the series a little bit forward. I said to Ernest, let's try to get the series to a level where more younger people are coming up. You know,
You want to make it attractive, make it colourful.
the GTI Challenge Series is fairly expensive to run.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to run. It's a
Yeah.
great race. But if you want to get in something different, by all means, I think the Tigra is a great option.
I think it's the way to go. It's readily available. There are a lot of guys building bodies around
Yeah.
the country. We
Yes,
know a couple of guys
lots.
that build the bodies. They're fiberglass. So if you crunch it, you fix it. It's easy. It's a tubular chassis.
And they can chat to Kursivaya, snap change.
Yeah.
You can, organize Tigro bodies.
And they're
Absolutely.
bringing in motors.
Yeah.
Snapchange bringing in motors and gearboxes. So
Yeah.
you can either go your Beams motor or your Honda, or you can put in a rotary. And the nice thing is, all you do is you put in a long box brood. Killarney is going to be a heaven
So,
haven
so
for
this
you.
is the thing, it's a one series, one brand, one car.
Yeah.
Maybe open it up a little bit to make it a bit more loose, so you have different multiple engines,
Yeah.
different engines, different classes, and
For
that
sure.
way, because if it's just one, you kind of only restricted to your drivability,
Yes.
your setup, and what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have a little bit more power, you can beat a little bit of the guys. If
For
you got
sure.
it,
Yeah.
For sure.
that's great for
Or you
racing.
can even have it as a Class A and B setup.
Great for racing.
Lovely, bringing in the youngsters, let the mature guys show them the way around, let the guys get into it. I do a lot of karting, as you know,
Yeah.
with the commentary and that. A nice place, that would be the ideal place for a karter to come in, because
Yeah.
it's a big kart, inevitably, it's
Yeah.
rear-wheel drive, it's braking, it's through the gears, and what a lovely breeding run.
2024 guys for Western Province Motor Club. I mean, the end of last year, I'm seeing this happen to motorsport in Cape Town after sort of COVID-19. It's just growing and growing. What's your prospects like for this year? I mean, what have you been hearing through the grapevine, online? What's going on?
Well, I know the new rules for GTI Challenge for 2024 was submitted about 2 weeks ago to MSA for approval.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to hear what that's going to be, including tyre rules. Clubman's is going to be a whole new change-up going on in Clubman's. I know there has been meetings. There
Yeah.
was a meeting last week
Correct.
for the new rule changes.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been accepted yet, but there is movement there.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything will go in the right direction. I believe it will. I'd like to see. You know what I really would like to see? The V8 Masters.
Yeah.
They were originally 45 and up. Then they made them 40 and up. I believe if you want to see 20 V8s around here, you need to bring your age group down a bit.
Yeah.
35, yeah.
To about 35.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I understand the initial thought was you want seasoned drivers that's not going to do any silly and stupid things on the track. But believe me, I can show you guys in their 20s and 30s that will not do silly things on
I
racetracks.
think
So
that's
their
fair.
CV is going to be yay thick.
I'm telling
They've
you
been to
now,
world champs, they've done this, that's the next thing.
It's a winning formula.
It is.
I just need to see more cars on the track, and I believe we can see more cars there if you make your age from 40 down to about 30,
And
35.
And again, that's a Cape Town only thing.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep,
So
yep,
so
yep.
let's be proud
Can you
about
imagine
it.
bringing the age group
Yeah.
down and you got 20
Yeah.
V8 Ford Mustangs
Yeah.
thundering around here?
And this is-
Lovely.
this is
but
the
then you
whole
can't
thing.
call it a Master Series anymore.
For sure. And it's the same with sort of that whole concept about the Thunder Saloons. Thunder Saloons was a series after Clubman's. If you break out, you go into Thunder Saloons. Renaming a series, there's nothing wrong with renaming a series.
Yeah.
But I think if we own a series, as in Cape Town, we need to be proud of that series. The Caltron Supercars, we're the only ones running it. Let's make it the best we can.
Yeah,
the
for sure.
Masters V8s, let's make it the best we can.
We can, because look, although we do get the occasional visit, we don't have like the Mobile 1 V8s that sit up at Swartkorps at Kyalami. So
Absolutely.
that's their series. They've got their series up there, we've got our series. We can, in actual fact, on a national day, migrate them to each other, and you have a Class A and B. And
Correct.
it works wonderfully.
Correct.
So yeah, that's the upside of it.
I have another question. Looking here at the
I've got-
Caltron fine cars.
Yeah.
What is the cutoff for fine cars?
If I stand corrected, but I think it's 34 or 35.
No. The year of
Oh.
the vehicle. The cutoff there, sorry.
91.
Now, if you want to see more fine cars out there, they need to adapt
Yeah.
that cutoff date as well.
The reason I
Then
know
you can,
this
then
is
you can
because
have more fine cars on the track as well.
I wanted to enter my BMW E36, and this is a very valid point. E36 M3 into a fine cars race. And now
Yeah.
it's a bit of a modern classic, but it's still a classic. And to grow that series, they need to be a little bit more flexible.
But your old boxy Beamers,
The old boxy
Yeah,
Beamers are
V25s,
difficult to run because
yeah.
the parts are hard
Parts
to find.
hard to find,
the,
yeah.
the E36 are a little bit more easier. Opening it up to, let's say, the E36 Cup guys.
yeah.
But they could enter there.
They
They
can.
could.
That's-
if the fine cars say, listen here, let's pull them in.
And that's the song that I'm singing, I think. And if you look at the way Woms and Ishmael's going, having a collective, we all chasing one goal, and that's to make this bigger and better. doing it much better than what we did it last year. You know, and I think that's what we should try to do that.
I think you're touching on something there, Dexter. Something that's sort of close to my heart, and it's only an opinion. I'm just putting it out there, but we need to have a symbiotic relationship between the owners of motorsport. We've got WAMSA, we've got MSA. They got their rules. It's a rule here and there, and a bit of money here and there. But we need to get these people together. And I know, and I'll say it out here, and I'm going to get a blood nose for it. It's about ego.
Yeah.
It's people's egos. But at the end of the day, we're sitting this side.
Yeah.
And we just want a full circuit. That's all.
Fair enough. I mean, we're all pulling towards the same thing, you know. But getting back to the 2024, he touched on the cars. I want to get to the bikes. The bikes have been fantastic last year.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of, as I said this morning, there's a lot of changes taking place. A lot of the youngsters, I call them youngsters because I watched them from little NSF 100s. Now they're sitting on liter bikes.
Yeah.
Stuff that are kicking out about 195 horsepower.
That weighs
200. It weighs like
150 kilograms.
160 kgs. And they're doing almost 200 and plenty down the back straights here. And these lighties can ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? The older guys are saying, hello, where do you come from? They got to step up their game, you know. And there's a lot of new machinery coming in. We were just chatting earlier about Brad's Bosworth, who's got the RSV4 Aprilia.
Yeah.
I mean, this
beautiful.
is
with Aero. Don't forget the Aero.
It's a SPK spec bike. You know, there's things happening. We're getting to see some guys are in this fortunate position to bring these machines down to the circuit for our privilege, and they're not playing with them.
Yeah.
They are murdering those motorcycles.
Yeah.
And it just makes it more exciting. The thing that I'm not saying I'm worried about, but the thing that sort of comes to heart is that short circuit that happens on an alternative weekends needs to grow.
Yeah.
We need to get more youngsters into the sport. I also think short circuit, my opinion again, please no blood nose, they need to adapt. They're going to die if they don't adapt. They're running the 150 carburetor Honda. There's a fuel injection.
Yeah.
When you come fuel injection, it's easy. You can start remapping and stuff. There's things they can do. I know it's going to become more pricey, but again, I have a friend over in the UK, Hudson Kenner, runs the Free Stock series, the Free Tech Stock series.
Yeah.
It's a stock bike. They've got 125 Suzukis, 125 Yamahas, 125 Hondas, 150 Hondas. Everything is there.
It really is wonderful having these conversations, even live on air, and we can be adults about it and understand because we've been around these corridors for a long time, you know. So I would like to think that our opinions matter, and it's really good keeping old historic things alive. But I think the future, and we all can weigh in here, the future is sort of we're only the custodians of Killarney.
Oh yeah.
We're doing this for the boys coming behind us and the girls coming behind us.
Oh yes,
you know.
definitely.
So let's look a little bit at them. Let's try to bring them up with us. Let them get even into the historic racing.
The nice thing is, you know, if when you were a picky, there was a liter bike that you sort of firmed to.
Yeah.
You can still go ride a liter bike, but now it's an historic.
CBX 1100, six-cylinder.
Oh yeah.
No. Look, I was very fortunate. I had a Z1R Eddie Lawson replica.
Wow.
Kawasaki with the AMAC Kirker and the Mazzocchi shocks and everything on it. I still want to have one today.
I want to now take this opportunity while we've got people at home watching us and they can watch it on YouTube again and again and again.
For sure.
I want to move on to Rallycross.
Yes.
Our local Rallycross, purely because this is a good platform that we're busy with now for the people that are watching now and that will watch it tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday. Because you get 8,000 views for a main circuit event through Amusat. Where are we heading, Dex? You're one of the main honchos for the local Rallycross. Where are we heading in 2024 with it? I know the last 2 years we called it Rallycross testing because it wasn't a championship set up yet. Where are we heading this year? So if we're heading in the right direction, this platform will hopefully say to the spectator, come and watch us. Come and watch us, because we are racing next week Saturday.
We are. I mean, as is with anything, the ladder only goes up, and we have to get it better and better every single year. Like you say, we've been practicing for the last sort of 2 years. Informal championships, informal races. This year is going to be a lot more formal than the previous years.
I just want to say you guys are lucky I have to commentate.
And honestly, it needs to get to a point where it's as formal as we possibly can get to. We haven't locked it down, Frankie, as exactly what we're going to go, whether we're going with MSA, whether we're going with WAMSA. There is negotiations. Our chairman is speaking to them, and we are negotiating for the rules. but it's going to happen where we're going to make it a little bit more formal this year. There is a lot more newer competitors that's going to be competing this year. It's for me, it's always a mixture of circuit racing mixed with rally, mixed with the culture and the family orientation of stock cars, which you don't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
And that for me is the beauty of rallycross.
It's basically, as you say, rallying, oval track and main circuit all in one.
One Pochi course,
That's what it is, yeah.
and even on the racing it shows. That's sort of how we race. We knock one another, but yet we hand cable ties to one another at the end of the day.
But there's always a mutual respect. And the nice thing is, I mean, like I say, I had 1 or 2 fortunate to do events with you guys. You got a ex-SA midget champion next to you in the E36.
Yeah.
And we're rubbing door handles, and he's like showing fingers. And afterwards, when you get at the car, it's like a hug, and hey, that was lekker, that was fun. So
I want to give a big thumbs up to people like Jean Meyer, Jean van Wyk. They really are putting their stakes in the ground. They have bought lots of cars. They've sold lots of cars. The biggest issue that we have is people don't know what it takes to build a rallycross car, because rallycross is new to South Africa.
Yeah.
It's completely unknown. They don't know what shocks we're running. They don't know what engine specs. So they have taken it upon themselves to build these cars and sell them off. In turn, there's cars available to buy as complete rallycross cars. And that makes it a little bit easier for the man on the street to jump in and actually compete.
For sure. No, for sure. And that just makes it easier as well to access the sport. Because I might not have the tech savvy to know what I must do to the car.
Yeah.
Now I must spend half a year trying to find out what I must do to the diff, the drive shaft, where I must shock stabilize, what wheel must I use, this kind of thing. And you're just saying, listen, if you're prepared to just fork out another 20k a year, have it.
Off the technical side of it now, the Class D, which we classify as the road, is that also hopefully going to grow?
That's definitely going to grow.
Next for this year, I should say.
There's a big focus on the all-tar section, and that's sort of a feeder section into the gravel section.
Yeah.
It's tar only. It's a bit like short circuit. In fact, it's only short circuit.
Yeah, it's 1 mile.
But it's very, very competitive. It was designed for road cars, but we're actually going to split it now, Frankie. We're going to make it road and race. You got John De Silva, you got Zaire Phillips, Class F Clubman's guys that need a bit of seat time. So they're going to come join us.
Maybe get a couple of classic cars and GTI Challenge cars and come and join as well.
That's exactly.
If you want to have a race and set up for maybe next Saturday's race event, that's where you can enter Class D.
We've been really blessed to be able to have good numbers right throughout the year. We've had a couple of rain dates where we had to push it off, but we've always had more than 30 competitors at every single event. It's been really good. Cape Town culture, we always enter on the last Friday before the race. That's normal. But I can guarantee you this, the 10th again, on Saturday the 10th, we're racing again. It's going to be jam-packed. The cars look fresh. I know I've redone my car. My car's looking, got new colors, new sponsors, new everything for the year. We're ready to really,
while we're on this platform here, is to say to the viewers, guys, don't sit at home. We don't televise it as much as we'd love to. The facilities aren't right for it. Get in your car, come down. It's a family-orientated facility. You can, like Dexter says, you can have a braai on the side. You can sit in the stands. There's food. There's a food vendor. Come out. Come support the local lads, guys like Dexter and Ernest and the likes that are out there, and come and have some fun. And Frankie will be commentating. I'll be across at karting. It's going to be an absolute blast.
It's the only series where we actually allow passenger rides to join us in certain races.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
going to hand over to the rest of the commentating colleagues. We've got Gary and we've got
Dex,
Byron.
it's been real.
It's been good. Thank you, gentlemen.
It's been awesome. And we're going to hand over to these two gentlemen that are sitting here.
Just to the viewers.
And they can come and take over from us.
Just to the viewers at home, you're joining us here at Killarney International Raceway for the historic event, the Classic Car historic event here at Killarney International Raceway for cars and bikes. Dexter is hosting it. I'm going to be leaving now. I think I've spoken enough. I've still got another 8 hours ahead of me.
You do.
Yeah, I do me, you do you. Dexter, it's been a privilege.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
We'll chat to you again, and all the best for you.
All right, that's our local commentators. We're going to be joined by another 2 more local commentators.
All right with you?
Okay, all right. We might just get a Greg Mills Formula 5000 if you can get a microphone. You can just grab the mic, Greg Mills. Let's see. There we go, it should be on. Greg, good morning and welcome.
Very soft.
How are you doing, sir?
Good, thank you.
How's it been on track?
I haven't been out yet. You know, we're only doing a demonstration, so there's a little less pressure.
So we've been geeking a whole morning about the classic cars. Just give us a little bit of a intro as to what technically, geek us a little bit about your car.
So we're doing a demonstration of 5 different cars, starting at the most powerful. It's a Formula 5000. I raced the car in the curtain raiser to the Australian Grand Prix 10 years ago. It's about 450, 500 horsepower, 550 kilograms. It takes a distinct lack of imagination to drive it. And I found it as a real project up in someone's barn in England.
Okay. Wonderful.
I served in Afghanistan with the army.
Yeah.
And I used some of my danger money to buy the car. So it's a bit of a story behind it. And then it took about 5 or 6 years to put it back together again. The other cars are all the same in the sense that they've all been bought as complete basket cases. There's 2 Formula Fords. Yeah. One is the ex-Richard Sterney Mervyn Tunmer Dulon, which famously was very competitive in the early 1970s. I found that just as a chassis, put it all together about 20 years ago, and have raced it quite a lot actually. Another one is a Hawk Deal 17.
Yes, yes.
It's exactly the same as the car that was raced by Jan Lammers.
Okay, okay.
That car no longer exists. Yeah. So because Jan and I raced together often and we're good friends, I made it as a kind of a Jan Lammers tribute. And in fact, he signed the car.
Beautiful.
And this is the first time we're taking out. It's not 100% finished, but it's 98% finished. So hopefully next time we use it, it'll be more on the mark. And then lastly, there are 2 Formula 3 cars. One is the ex-Mike White March 813, yes, which is an Alpha engine Formula 3 car. Mike
the 1500.
It's 2 litre.
2 litre, okay.
Mike White was a tremendous hope for South Africa in
absolutely.
the late 70s, early 80s.
Yes. Oh.
He had a lot of bad luck in Formula 3s. He went with March at a time that Rolt was the favoured chassis. Yeah. And he always struggled. He won a few races, but he finished top 6 in the championship, but was always just off the leading bunch, and that kind of did for his international career. And I think he was more than talented enough to go the whole way. And then the other one is a Mako. And over time, I've collected quite a few Makos, all of them in terrible states of repair, starting from bare chassis to bits of bodywork and I managed to assemble them all into one car. And I've got quite friendly with the guy who built them in Germany called Ernst Mehring, and this car did the Monaco Formula 3 race in the hands of Franz Jelensky, who ended up being quite a successful sports car driver in the 80s.
Firstly, just from a young racer to an older racer, it's a real honor and it's a privilege, and thank you for keeping the history of motorsport alive in doing what you're doing. It's not easy. We build modern cars and it's difficult. We can only but imagine what it's like to find parts for these older cars, and really it's honorable to do it. But what we really want to know...
Actually, I have to just interrupt you and say... Half the fun is finding the parts.
I can only but
it's like a treasure hunt. So you
also make friends along the way. It's a journey.
And you know, the one thing about life is the one thing that probably gives you the most enjoyment is the ability to make friends and make contacts. And some of the places that I've sourced these parts, you just wouldn't believe.
It's like in the biking community, they call it kindred spirits, where the things are just exactly the same. You speak about the same stuff. But what we really want to know is, what is it like to drive these older cars? How uncomfortable is it? How hot do you get? Where does the prop shaft run through your legs? What is that feeling like?
Well, I can only speak about the Formula 5000 because that's the one I put the most time in on. Yeah. At Phillip Island, it was timed at 196 miles an hour. Now, if you think about it, it's a 1970s car with all the safety features to match. As I say, it requires either a death wish or a distinct lack of imagination. But the power to weight ratio is just
unbelievable. Absolutely.
I mean, it gives you absolute respect for what they did. Yes. Of course, they didn't really know better in that era. So, you know, you see people as being immensely brave, but that was what was the accepted norm. Yeah. For me, it's a different story because I do know better. But unfortunately, I proved to be more stupid than I look, perhaps.
No, and the last question. Racing down here, what is it like? What is the culture like? Do you enjoy it? How's the track for you?
You know, I've done some international endurance races. Emanuele Pirro is a great friend.
Beautiful.
We've raced together in various places. And Emanuele sums up our little team called Team Africa Lamar. And he says it's not a professional racing team. It's a team of friends, and I think the same label applies to Killarney. It's an environment where I think friends are foremost. It's serious motorsport, but it's not win at all costs, and it never should be.
Yeah.
You know, Frank Williams or whoever his successor is, or you know the people who run McLaren are not going to give anybody here at all on Monday morning. You've got to keep some perspective, and I think one of the great assets that Killarney has is this, and East London are, I think, the only two racetracks that hosted, in this case, non-championship, in East London's case, World Championship Grand Prix in the 60s, and remain in the same layout as when they hosted those Grand Prix. So
we're very proud of it.
From a historic point of view, it's an absolute gem.
We're very proud of it, and thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it. Thank you for bringing the cars down and enjoying it with us. We wish you all the best of luck, and if you are there today, please come and say hi. Come to the garages, come greet, come touch the cars, and come say hi to the gentleman. Thank you so much, Mr. Mills.
Thank you.
All the best. No problem.
Thank you.
Next up, I don't need to give him any introduction.
Hi, Greg. Fantastic.
Mr. Gary Fleming. Oh, the sound of Killarney reverberates from the chest of Mr. Gary Fleming.
Welcome. What a pleasure it is to be here with you this morning, and good morning to all the folks. I was just saying to Frankie now, you know what, we need to get upstairs. It's like 15 minutes, and I could see the hair was standing up on his arm. He can't wait to do it, and what makes it worse is all of these guys have now moved up and they're ready to go on the grid, and these cars are standing idly. We haven't done this for 8 weeks.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibe out here. We, like you say, it's been a little bit since we've been out here. The younger guys say it's been a minute. So it's been a minute and plus, but we are so looking forward to today's racing. We've geeked all day long about the historic cars. If I'm at home, Gary, why should I come here today?
Well, let's put it this way. If you've got any control of what's happening in your household and you know about garden services, you've got no excuse not to be here today. For all the folks at home, this is once a year.
Yeah.
And you never know if we're ever going to see some of these cars again. If you have really got blood in your veins mixed with 95% petrol and just the rest is blood, you need to actually get down here to watch it on TV. Yes, it's fantastic. IMUSAT, brilliant stuff. The guys do an awesome job. But the sound, just the sound of what is here, having done commentary for 25 years, the hair still stands up on my arm when I sit here. And there is just so much to take in. As Byron's wording, he's always got these big words. He says a sensory overload. That's what's happening here today, is a sensory overload.
We were talking a little bit about distinguishing between the different classic cars, and sometimes for the younger generation it's hard to tell what is a Lola, what is a Lotus. But I'm going to tell you this one thing now. If you hear the sound of a Maserati 250F, you're going to know it's something special. If you hear a sound of a 1000cc car running on 48 side drafts, it's going to make the hair on your back of your neck stand on end.
Okay, so for the guys sitting at home, there's 2 pointers. If you want to sound intelligent with your friends when you go across the IMUSAT, when you hear that sound, just quote Dex as to what it was, because you can't go wrong with that.
Listen, 2024 is going to be a bumper year for us. I know you've been on the calendar lock, stock and barrel for the last couple of weeks. Come on, just give us a little bit of an insight. Where are we going? Motorsport.
We're actually very lucky in motorsport, not only in South Africa, but in Cape Town as a whole. Yes, COVID did knock us very heavily, but somehow the guys cut on the garden services, taking the wife out, beach buggy runs, etc. And they kept their budgets for racing. Racing, surprisingly, against all odds, is actually very healthy in Cape Town, is magnificently healthy here at Killarney International. And remember, Killarney International is not just main circuit racing, because 2 weeks from now we're back here with the Power Series for 2024. But there's spinning and drifting
happening
today,
now.
Happening right now.
Rallycross next weekend.
Rallycross next, Rallycross. Wow, Mr. Bumper's Rallycross next to me. So do yourself a favor, guys, those of you that are watching already, if you're not already connected, Paul at wpmc.co.za. That is the connection to get the latest information, all written out by Dave Abrams and by Paul Simon as to what is happening. We even do cycling here.
We even do cycling, you're right.
Well, no, we won't. Well, you maybe, I won't.
I mean, I won't really cycle. I'll watch them, but I mean, you know,
that doesn't hurt.
I'll cycle in the pits. How's that?
Yeah, no, even that's too far. Definitely not.
But I mean, it's a bumper year. I had a look at the calendar. I mean, we've got races almost for every single weekend except Easter.
Yep. And remember, we've got Streeter Strip, we've got robot racing, we've got main circuit, we've got karting, we've got KPL drivers, we've got spinning.
Let's just stop there. Let's just stop on the KPL drivers. There is this happening to the KPL drivers.
Oh, yes.
National Hot Rod
yes.
oval circuit scene. Come on.
Oh yes.
Come on. What?
It's gonna be brilliant.
It's amazing. It is.
But you know what? You know what's gonna hurt the most is I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna love and leave you guys because everybody that was standing there has now gone out on circuit, and I can hear they're starting to calm down just a little, Dex, which means our time is just about up.
Our time is nearly up.
We're gonna go do some camera shots up there.
You go do what you must do. I'm gonna hand off the last 5 minutes, and then we're gonna hand over to you. I'll let you know when we're ready to go.
It's going to be fantastic. For the folks at home, please have a look on IMUSAT as Ernest Page comes closer. Have a look on IMUSAT and share on your page that IMUSAT link as well, so as many people as possible. And then also tell them to just rewind a piece to the information from Dexter Bruce as to how to sound intelligent with your friends. Let them read that piece, and we'll see you guys later. Enjoy it, people. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be something completely different.
Thank you, Gary.
Awesome stuff.
Appreciate you.
Join us upstairs a little bit later on and share with us some of your experiences down at ground level. Will be fantastic.
Will do.
Thanks very much. Cheers, peoples.
Back to the qualifying, and Nian de Toy just puts in an absolute flyer. 118. Oliver Internaus, his stablemate, does a 121, and then Anwar Levy just behind that as well with a quick BMW does a 121. I have a famous guy. I actually have an absolutely famous youngster coming into my shot.
Oh,
young man.
Hello.
Young man.
I just need to confirm, is this live?
This is absolutely as live as it gets. How did it go?
Very good. Very good. We got pole for the day.
Absolutely. Of course you got pole for the day. I've been watching it.
So I'm very excited. The other guys are still figuring things out. So I think there's some other guys that are going to get faster on the day. But we also still figuring things out. But I'm just glad that
there was a bit of drizzle this morning. I'm gonna call it drizzle, but it was hard rain. 4 o'clock.
It was raining through the night by me the whole night.
Cats and dogs, and I'm sure that must have been a little bit hectic.
I was sleeping with one eye.
Dreaming about spiders.
So there's the standing joke where I have this weird dream, and last night one was no different. I can't talk about it even, but I have these weird dreams before race day, but that usually means it's going to be a good day, because any day at the racetrack is a good day.
It's absolutely. So no rain out there, no puddles, no water, nothing.
Track is good. Track is actually very grippy at the moment. I kind of thought it would be because it's been baking all week. So it feels grippy enough. There's no issues. There's no puddles, no standing water, no streams, no nothing. The track actually feels pretty good.
And obviously a lot of guys are on new tires and they want to scrub those tires. And so a lot of layers of the tires coming off and laying that down for you guys. So you guys on semis really have a good... The morning session is going to be much, much better than I think the afternoon session.
I think so. Look, we were out second, so I don't know how it's going to go later on during the day. But so far so good. And it's so lucky to see all these very expensive, very nice cars here today.
Listen, my mind is exploding with all the 250F and...
That's the one I was thinking of.
The 1954.
I spoke to the gentleman that worked on that car. That is...
It's almost as old as him, Brian Hoskins.
Brian Hoskins. Shout out to Brian Hoskins behind the camera there. No, it's the quality of cars here, it's incredible. I mean, to name a few, there's so many cars with so much history. It's always cool to be part of an event like this.
It absolutely is. And just chatting to some of the guys, a lot of the guys, they find these cars in a barn, in boxes, in crates, and they build them up over time. And what was really stood out for me, I just interviewed Greg now, and he was saying the journey that it takes to build a car is more important than often racing the car.
How weird is that? How weird is that? And I think we both can relate to that now, because I'm starting to enjoy the development process of a car.
The build.
Like the build, because the car's not good. You make it better, and that it's so rewarding. And with our builds and stuff, we always encourage people to do that. Make the time, make the effort. Take 2-3 years if you want to, but when you come here with your 250F, okay, it's maybe a little bit out of my league and our league, but you come here with your car that you've been slaving on for years, and you finally get to enjoy it. Best feeling ever.
I mean, the guy was saying he goes to another country just to buy a small little valve, because that's the only place that makes that German valve for that specific car. So you've got to go all back to Europe. That's the name of the game. We're not going to Midas.
Goldwagen.
There's none of that, dude. There's absolutely none of that.
So I've also, you know, when drivers come here, they will say they want to give shout outs to their sponsors. I'm there now.
Okay.
So I'd like to give a shout out.
You do your thing.
To Keltron and the rest of the guys at Keltron Formula Supercars. Thanks for bringing me into the fold, as they say. The guys have been super welcoming. Glenn, Ryan.
It's a good series.
I enjoy it.
It's a good series. series.
The cars you need to keep your hand on those cars, and that's what we're trying to do. But the guys are lekker. It's a fun series. I would encourage anybody, if you want to come drive a car like that, speak to Ryan and the guys.
I want to actually encourage you to watch the breakfast show a little bit later. We had a very good discussion about what we think is the future of the Caltron Supercars.
Wow.
We would like to actually grab hold of what's ours. And when I say what's ours, Masters and the Caltron Supercars is ours.
It's a Cape Town thing.
It's a Cape Town thing only.
Yeah.
You know, so let's be proud about it. Let's make it the best that we possibly can. Let's put in different bodies. Tigra.
I think
BMW M2 Tigra. That's what we're discussing.
I wonder.
That's what we're talking
because,
about.
The body, I think, will really change things.
It needs
a new
to
body.
speak to the younger generation.
I would think my vote at first, and this is just off the top of my head, we spoke the other day.
Yeah.
Civic, Honda Civic.
Yeah.
Something that our youngsters can relate to. And then the other thing is get somebody in that car. You know, get even some junior drivers in that car.
Get the 2-liter Opel engine out, put in a K-Series. Yes, it's going to be more expensive, but it's going to appeal to a lot more people.
K-Series is a good idea,
It's a great idea, man.
Emil will love that. Our friend is busy with a K-Series Ford
in an Escort.
In an Escort. We should phone him and ask him what the issues are. Guys, and again, apologies. We got some rude commentators walking past here, chirping us. We got to chirp them and the camera. It's difficult.
Honestly, like we were we had a nostalgic moment about the whole Owen Ashley thing, and really, guys, I think it's ours, and we really, Cape Town needs to take control of it. You know, really, we need to take even the Masters. There's a certain cap on the Masters. I think it's 48. You got to be over the age of 48, and certain lower that level. Let the younger gens come through. There's a lot of guys that have raced many years that can maybe afford it.
Yeah,
Oliver
definitely.
Intenhouse.
Look, I don't know if the older gentlemen are going to want that, but there have been guest drives at the Masters. I know that Auto House Angel had a guest driver there with that one of the son in not Marcel, his son, not Marcel Angel. Actually, his name slips on mine now, but Angel Jr. was the driver over there, and he had a great time. He said he loved the cars. But I've got to get going back that side now, so I'm going to say goodbye. Just a big thank you from myself to all the guys at RDSA, Dylan van Eden, the guys from Fury Autosport, R1, and the rest of the guys that made it possible. Thanks,
Keep
guys.
it the horns, my brother. We're going to watch out there. And if you're out there, come say hi to Ernest. He's in the back, just next to the clubhouse.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
That's our local man on the floor, turning into a racer today. He'll be racing in, I think it's the orange and silver and a white Caltron supercar. Absolutely fantastic. Heading back to the live timing on the side of your screen. Neanderthal stays on top there with the 118. Oliver Intenhouse a little bit behind him with the 120. Mansoor Parker in another BMW with the 120 as well. Anwar Levy not too far behind, 121. Mark Totoy. And then, of course, Mark Totoy and Kenneth Person with the 121 below that. I think it's going to be good racing. I think the racing out there is going to be really challenging today for a lot of the cars. There's a lot that needs to shake off. And again, if you are out there, we're going to hand actually over to the guys upstairs. And if you are out there today and you want to come in today, it's an absolutely fantastic. It's our first race back after 2023. So bring it in, come to the gate, come have a good time, come and braai. All the facilities are open. It's going to be absolutely fantastic out there. Then we've got bikes, we've got historic cars, we've got historic motorcycles, we've got modern motorcycles. We even got a 30-minute dash race where we're going to have a couple of cars that is a little bit of a mini enduro happening. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Make your way through. The sun is out. There's absolutely a little bit of a breeze blowing, but nothing to speak about. Northwesterly, I think it is, just coming from Robben Island. I'm going to sign out right now. My name is Dexter Bruce. I'm signing on behalf of the IMESAT team. We're going to catch you guys a little bit later on the lunchtime show.